We are living through one of the greatest of scientific endeavors, the attempt to understand the most complex object in the universe, the brain. Scientists are accumulating vast amounts of data about structure and function in a huge array of brains, from the tiniest to our own. Tens of thousands of researchers are devoting massive amounts of time and energy to thinking about what brains do. An astonishing new technology, including computers and artificial intelligence, is enabling us to both describe and manipulate that activity. Humans can tell computers what to do and how to do, by giving the meaning of the certain words. Computers can operate as programmed, and develop systems and symbols. Computers work by analyzing messages into bytes, and this function is similar to human brains. Both human brains and computers are symbol processors, so computers have potential to bring artificial intelligence.
Well, the 90s came around and finally it clicked that normal people could get online, which hadn't really clicked before. And the little trick that finally put it together was Tim Berners-Lee HTML. So thank you to the UK for providing the fellow who finally put the missing chink in place. And then what happened in the 90s was this extraordinary outpouring of creativity and constructiveness from millions and millions of people. There were millions of people making web pages, creating content online, creating social experiments, creating lessons, all sorts of things. And the first decade of the web took place without much of a profit motive, without any particular charismatic figures driving it, without fear, without a desire for an afterlife or other religious gambits, without advertising, and without any of the traditional motivational schemes. It simply happened because people enjoyed it, and it was a good idea.
Well, it's like, why is Australian housing is so expensive? Essentially, it's showing of how well the Australian economy has been doing over the last 15 years. We have had 15 years more or less of an uninterrupted economic growth during which average earning has been raised by close to 90%. While over the course of that period, the standard variable mortgage rate has roughly halved. That meant that the amount which a typical home-buying household can afford to borrow under rules which aren't strictly applied as they used to be had more than doubled. Over the same period, rising immigration in falling average household size has meant that the number of households looking for accommodation has risen by about 1.5 million. That's around 200,000 more than the number of dwellings has increased by. So you have had a substantial increase in the purchasing power of households. No net increase in the supply of housing, and hence all that addition purchasing power has gone into pushing up the price of housing.
But what are the dangers of keeping these drugs at home? There are a number of dangers. Parents should know that leftover drugs are dangerous because they may be accidentally ingested by children. Either adults don't keep the bottles properly closed and stored, or because even many kids can sometimes open child-proof lids. Patients may use the drugs after their expiration date. The leftover drugs may be taken for the wrong reasons. For example, someone may have a viral infection and self-prescribed to leftover into microbial that was prescribed for a bacterial infection, but that drug will have no effect as the viral infections. Drugs that are left over might be given to or taken by someone else who may have had a serious allergy to the medicine and who for that reason would not be prescribed to medicine under the supervision of a physician. Finally, inappropriate use of drugs promotes drug resistance if the drug is taken for the wrong indication, the wrong duration, or the wrong dosage. Todd, what can people do about this? How can the situation be improved? I think physicians, patients, and parents of patients can take steps to improve the situation. First of all, physicians should prescribe the drug only when appropriate, only in the correct amount, and only for the correct duration. Also, the physician must stress to the patient that the full course of the drug must be taken. This is recommended even if symptoms are resolved before the end of the prescription, and parents of children on antibiotics need to ensure they complete their course as well.
It turns out consumers are incredibly smart. They combine a lifetime of experience with that brand, combined with whatever its designed appeal is, how it makes them feel, performance and price. And they do all that in a few seconds. So brands are essential to our business to allow us to deliver the increased consumer value associated with our products. We're not into the generic business of toilet paper. We're into probably about the softest product you're going to want to buy. We're not into a generic soap. We're into the best, stain-removing laundry detergent you're going to buy. But we're going to want you to remember that as the Tide brand. Now, that means there's a second moment of truth. If they do select you and they pay 50% more than they would have paid for Walmart's brand, when they get home, it'd better perform when it's used. And here's where the science starts, folks. There's an amazing number of fundamental engineering contradictions, right? Airplanes deal with, weight and strength. I want something that's light but strong. That's an engineering contradiction. Once I deal with our things, got to be strong but soft. They have to be strong even when they're wet. Bright but not tear, liquids, mixtures, not common things, but they can't separate. You don't want to shake before use, before you pour down in your washing machine.
Subscribe our channel to get weekly and monthly PTA exam predictions, according to your exam date. Please like, comment and share this video. Your appreciation is biggest motivation for us. See you in next video.